And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed. And she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. Now turn to Hebrews 11. Would you turn there? Hebrews 11. The more you think on a passage like this, I don't know how you would describe your feelings, but I can tell you I almost get sick. I get feeling sick when I read about what David did with Bathsheba and what he had done to her husband. Now, in Hebrews 11, this is what you might call the Hall of Faith. You remember? And God starts off there. We just preached from it recently. Starts off with Abel and Enoch and Noah and Abraham. Sarah's mentioned Isaac and Jacob. You've got Joseph, Moses. And then as you go on down a ways, you notice beginning in verse 31, he begins to talk about these that I'd call the imperfect ones. The harlot Rahab. By the way, she's in the lineage of the Lord, as Charlotte mentioned the other day. Gideon. If you look at Gideon pretty critically, you'll find Gideon was a very imperfect man. Barak, he's the one that told a woman judge, he said, if you'll go with me, I'll go, but if you won't go, I'm not going. He wasn't too mighty a man of valor, was he? He depended on a woman's courage. By the way, that's a big no-no in those days. Samson, we're going to get to Samson. Samson sure wasn't a perfect person, was he? I mean, how'd you like to have him as a role model for your children? I had a customer of ours once in business, and his name was Samson. And my first thought was, did your parents not ever read the Bible? And then he mentions Jephthah. That's Jephthah. So Jephthah, God acknowledges as a man of faith. What was it about Jephthah that got honorable mention from God? I can tell you, y'all, tonight. It wasn't his defeating the Ammonites. It wasn't his going back to fight on behalf of his people, Israel. You know how Jephthah demonstrated his faith? By keeping his vow. Can you just imagine? We would have said that the sun rose and set in Jephthah's daughter, to Jephthah. I'm sure that that girl meant everything to him. But when it came down to a choice of God or his daughter, it was God. I want to tell you something, y'all. When you think of this man, it ought to sober you. There's a lot of passages in the Bible. I can't think of a word that's any more accurate than that. It's sobering. This Christmas season, I have felt so, I don't know, better word, sober. I don't mean as opposed to drunk. I mean serious. I can't help it. I feel very serious. We've got things that are pressing in our own personal lives. Some of y'all have had so much trial and things that you've gone through, and we're going through things as a church, and we're seeing things in our nation that are troubling, and just everything around us. There's a real serious side to life. And we're going to make some choices, and we're making them every day. And you'd think it'd be made once and for all, but believe me, that day when Jephthah saw his daughter run out of that door and come out to meet him, that was the biggest test of that man's life, right there. You may think that you've already been through your biggest trial. I doubt it. Probably got some ahead of you bigger. Be a person, man or woman, boy or girl of faith. You do what's right by the Lord, even if it goes against everything that a human being would think. Are y'all with me? You talking about some meat. There's some meat in this passage tonight. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Lord,